Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's webinar on behalf of Genesis Chiropractic Software. I'm Dr. Tabor Smith, and I'm so excited to bring you our guest today, Dr. Stephen Franson. He truly is a remarkable chiropractor. He runs a huge clinic, but also coaches chiropractors, has the remarkable practice. You've probably heard of him. I'm so excited to interview him and really ask him some questions that are going to help us out. We're going to learn something. We're going to be able to grow our practice. But first of all, if there's some of you out there who maybe don't know who Dr. Stephen Franson is, I'm going to welcome you, Dr. Franson, and let you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Hey, Tabor, thank you so much for asking me to do this. I love what you guys are doing. I always love your stuff. You're everywhere
Awesome.
I look now, Tabor, so I just appreciate you asking me. Yeah, so, I'm a practicing chiropractor just north of Boston. Practice still in a practice that my wife and I started 18 years ago next month, which is really exciting. Our practice is extraordinary. It's remarkable. We've been blessed, and I'd like to credit my wife with putting up with me and allowing me to do what I do in that place and what I do outside of it. Our practice, for whatever success we've enjoyed, I'd like to credit a big purpose, but really great teams and a dedication to service through tight systems. Our practice, as it grew, we started to bring associate doctors on board. I get a real heart for developing chiropractors, so we have more of an apprenticeship in our practice, so we did for about 15 years. I've had about 40 doctors, 39 doctors go through our apprenticeship program where they stay for either a year or 2 years. In that period of time, we really speak into them and train them and just prepare them, shape them to be successful chiropractors. That's where I discovered that I have a real heart for training people, and I have a passion for coaching. So, after a while, I realized that I was doing a bit of a one-to-one, and I wanted to do more one-to-many. I've developed a coaching program. So I started developing the Remarkable Practice, which started out initially as MVP 360, which is mission, vision, purpose for 360 degrees of your life. It has since grown up and become the Remarkable Practice because we've branched off and done things other than just one-on-one coaching or small group coaching. And that has grown into the Remarkable Practice. And our tagline there is to build a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life. There are three main parts to the remarkable practice. The first is coaching, which is your traditional one-on-one relationship or small groups. As I maxed that out, I wanted to continue to influence chiropractic. I covet influence, and I really want to have an impact in chiropractic. So we took it to the next level, which is to leverage technology and to record the materials that we've developed over the years in our coaching program, and to create a video-driven coaching, more of a training program that's accessible to people. It's really cost-effective. It's really convenient to be able to be trained from wherever you want to be trained, and when it's video-driven and web hosted, you can get it 365, 24/7, 365. And to be able to consume it at your own pace. So that's the Remarkable Practice Academy. So you can consume the academy one of two ways. Either you can follow the curriculum, which is a very linear training program, which I prefer. I love when people do that. But I also wanted to create something that I wish I had through my early years in chiropractic, which was a very specific training program that would allow you to pick and choose the things that you wanted. So I broke it apart into modules and make those modules available so that people can go in and get exactly what they're looking for. So whether they're trying to figure out how do I hire a PRCA, or how do I train my tech CA, or how do I do an opening for a workshop or close a workshop, or how do you land a corporate wellness program, or like how do you do a spinal screening, for example. I mean, it's a very tactical and practical approach to training that's very modulated. I call it practice hacking. Or coaching deconstructed, where you can go in and just get the pieces that you're looking for. And hopefully, if people love those, they'll subscribe and consume all my stuff, which is great. And then the third piece is the Remarkable Marketplace, where I bring experts like yourself who are bright spots in our field, who I think are doing great work in a very specific either tactic or initiative, and I bring their material to our platform as well as remarkable experts. So we're very excited, very proud of it, and I think my goal is I want to become the iTunes for chiropractic. So I appreciate you helping me serve that mission.
Awesome. Well, I got to tell you, Dr. Franson, I have just a deep respect for people like you who are, I mean, so driven, and you're already so successful, but you're driven to do more and more and give more and give more and build more, innovatively build more. And so that's why I just love being able to talk with you and ask you the questions that I'm going to ask you today. In fact, I want to start with asking you where does that drive come from? And as you started your practice, you grew, you were successful already. Give me a tip. Give me something where if there's chiropractors out there who are in my seat and they might have a pretty good practice, but they do have that drive to grow it or to go to that next step. What was it that grew you and your practice, and what is it that drives you?
I'd have to say that we just went through strengths finders with my accountability group, so this is sort of top of mind for me, and I was not surprised to find out that one of my top 5 strengths was achiever. So I guess innately I'm hardwired for that. So, but for people who are not necessarily, some people would call it crazy. If you're not naturally finding yourself driven, what I'll find is that you can certainly develop that, right, and you can foster that. And I would really encourage people to find great mentors and great models that inspire them, right? So I love how DeMartini puts it. We should be acting from inspiration, not desperation. So be careful who you're spending your time with. If you spend time with people who are always complaining or are negatively oriented, or are lazy or procrastinate, what have you, it doesn't make them bad people. It just makes them bad role models and bad mentors. So do your best to seek out people that inspire you. And it's not just like the stuff that they have, because really that's fleeting, and you shouldn't be attached to that sort of material reward that comes with really adding value to people's lives. But rather find people that you admire their behaviors. You admire their strategies and their tactics. You admire the way they get things done, not just that they get things done. And spend more time around those people, because frankly, that this stuff's contagious, all of it, good and bad. So Be really cautious who you spend your time with. Secondly, I would really invest my time in developing my vision. And the vision story is the story that you tell everyone, most importantly yourself, around what are you trying to create? What does success look like? I love what my pastor says on this. Be careful how you define success, because you're going to spend a lifetime seeking it. And I just think that's a great way to look at it. Is be really careful to define what success looks like for you, and that way you can direct your energies. And then I would also I would employ the side of the personal life side of it, and making sure that you are personally healthy and that you have a self-care plan, so that the energy is there and the wherewithal is there to be able to put up with the demands of a productive life. If you're going to be a producer, you've got to make sure that you've got the physical strength and energy and health that it's going to take to be able to do these things consistently, and listen to the rhythms of your life and to your body. And let that guide your pace. Don't be successful at the expense of your health. Don't be successful at the expense of your marriage. Don't be successful at the expense of knowing your children, your fitness, your joy. So I think the X factor is F. The F factor, fun. Have fun in your life and enjoy your life. That's always an indicator that you're on the right path and doing the right thing. And it's easy to stay motivated and driven if you're having fun.
Nice. Well, okay, and so let me ask you another question. This might be a kind of a weird question for you, and I don't know if you've been asked this before, but so I know you've built a huge practice, like 1,000 a week or something like that, and you've helped other chiropractors build huge practices. Yeah. Give us the life cycle of that practice. I mean, what's it like to go through growing to get to that 200, 300? Was there a spot where you hit and it just exploded, or was it you battle all the way through, or how does that work?
Yeah, no, I think I had a terribly unsexy approach to our peak. So it was never we never did that, honestly. We never did that, like, all of a sudden, boom, we went from 200 to 500, 500 to 1,000. We didn't do that. It was just not our story. I'm a nuts and bolts guy, grounders and pop-ups, blocking and tackling, right?
Right.
And I wanted to build something remarkable, meaning that it would be something worth talking about, to be able to look back at something. I wanted to create a practice that represented the way I think chiropractic should be consumed by the public. For me, chiropractic's a lifestyle strategy. It's a success strategy for healthy people. And I wanted to raise families inside my clinic. I wanted to raise children and raise young chiropractors, in our clinic. So that's a very specific objective. For me, 1,000 a week was like the golden ring for a while there, because I covet influence in chiropractic. Whenever I get out somewhere, somebody's like, oh yeah, I built a practice 1,000 a week. At the very least, people in the room are like, okay, I can listen to this dude. I can learn something. He's going to say something that I'm going to get out of it. And so that's kind of like the chiropractic MBA, right? So I just, I wanted to have that sort of calling card. But as you get through that, we went like first year 100 a week, second year 200 a week, third year 300 a week. It was literally one of these days.
Nice.
And I like that. I don't like the wild ride. Some people are like, yeah, that's boring. I'm like, yeah, well, I like that. I like that steady incline. And it helped me stay focused, and I could manage it well. Not that I wouldn't have wanted to grow faster in the moment, don't get me wrong. Sure. But I liked the way we've done that. And because we created this really strong, stable foundation. If you come and hang out in my adjustatorium on a Tuesday morning, you can look at the start dates of the patients, and I'm very proud to say that most of them are going to be there more than 5 years, almost all of them, and a great percentage of them have been there 15 years. So that 15, 16, 17 years. That's what everybody says when they're hanging out in our clinic. That's what I wanted to create. My definition of the ideal practice was I want to create 100 re-signs a month. So that's an interesting way to look at defining your, the essence of your practice. Think about what that practice looks like. 100 re-signs a month. These are people like you and I that are bringing their families in, that are getting checked and adjusted for the same reason you and I do. That's the practice I want to be serving. That's the practice I want to lead. That's where I want to spend my time. It's a different sound. It's a different energy. It's a different feel. And don't get me wrong, it's incredibly profitable, right? That's a great business also. But you know what? God is good, right? So what's good for the people is good for your business, So those two things kind of go hand in hand. If you deliver value, I love what my boy Garrett Gunderson says, money follows value, right? So just if you focus on every day getting up and saying, how can I deliver more value to these families? People stay, and they happily re-sign and pay, and that builds a magnificent and remarkable practice.
Right. Well, I've got to think that you just probably hit what's got to be the key to building 1,000 a week practice is shutting the side doors and the back door, and then the bucket just fills up. So maybe one of the last kind of tips or strategies that you give us. How do you think that happened? What do you think kept people coming back and kept them from leaving the side doors back? I'm sure it's a lot, and you probably have entire seminars on that. But give us some strategies or tips to building retention, lifelong patients.
All right, so thank you. You're teeing me up ideally, Tabor, because that's the essence of the Remarkable Practice Academy. Is attracting with an eye on conversion, but converting with an eye on retention, because I just believe that we do our best work over time. Okay, I found that it's the best thing for the patients, it's the best thing for the clinic, it's the best thing for the DC, and it's the best thing for the business itself, that we keep people, right? So everything I did was designed around retention. You'll hear me say often that your attraction is a reflection of your certainty, your conversion is a reflection of your conviction, and your retention is a reflection of your clarity. And I'll tell you that clarity is king, because clarity drives your conviction and your certainty. Okay? And what I mean by that is we've all been in situations where somebody's asked us to have a conversation around something that we know we can't have an intelligent conversation around it because we lack clarity. It's not that we lack belief. It's just that we lack clarity. So with that, when you lack clarity, it undermines your conviction and it undermines your certainty. And I think far too many chiropractors are out there operating with lack of clarity around what it is they do, why they do it, and how they do it. And when the doctor lacks clarity, the team's going to lack clarity. When the team and doctor lack clarity, the patients are going to lack clarity. And if they lack clarity, they're not going to go out into the community and be advocates and ambassadors for you. So, ultimately, it's all about developing greater clarity. I want to become a retention expert. So I started studying retention. Why do people stay and why do they leave? And I identified what I called the big seven. So the 7 mechanisms that are built into your practice system that are designed to increase patient clarity so that they will stay. Because when things start getting wonky for a patient and they don't understand things, when things become unclear, that's when they spin out, right? So I identified these big 7 and these mechanisms to stay, to make sure that people stay put in your clinic. And if you're missing any of these big 7, then what happens is they become pitfalls. And then these are the big cracks in the hanging bridge where the patients fall through and you lose them. And what have we lost them to? They're lost to the big lie. They're lost to the outside-in world. And, so I just don't think we can afford that.
No. Wow. How do we find out more about the Remarkable Practice? Where can we go to find out more about what you do?
Piece of cake, just go to theremarkablepractice.com. So theremarkablepractice.com, and we're really excited to be releasing our new website this next month. So we're bringing everything underneath one tent. As things have been growing, it's been exciting, and we've been blessed. So we brought a new level of organization to it, and excited to release the new website. It's really going to serve people well, and we're creating a new resource, a new place for people to go to get the stuff that they need to succeed.
Awesome. Well, I got to tell you, it's been an awesome interview, and I really appreciate you being here. I want to encourage everybody who's watching to follow Dr. Stephen Franson. Find his Facebook page, go to theremarkablepractice.com. Because he puts out a lot of great information, and Dr. Franson, I follow you. I watch the coffee breaks that you do, and all the information there. And so I really appreciate that. You're putting out free value that us chiropractors can take and use every day. So thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. Thanks for following it. And there's a lot more to come. We've just been in such a massive creative push. We've got extraordinary things that we're releasing. Now the DC program is up and running and cranking. We've got the CA Academy, where we're going to be training CAs specifically, is about to release, which is going to be another huge value add to the chiropractic profession. I've got a lot of love for CAs, and I think you can create a practice that's a team-driven practice. I know we did it. Couldn't have done it without awesome CAs. So we've created a CA Academy where doctors will be able to enroll in that and put their CAs right into the program, and either we'll teach you to train your CAs or just sit back, hit play, and let us do it for you. So that's exciting, and that's coming out soon.
Nice. Well, we look forward to that, and I look forward to all the stuff that you put out. So again, if you're watching this, go to theremarkablepractice.com. We'll also place a link underneath this video for you. Thanks again, Dr. Franson, and thank you everyone for watching the webinars. We will talk to you soon.
Thanks, Dr. Tabor.
Thanks. Bye.